Hello everyone, my name's Brian. I'm the product manager of LaunchBox. Happy Friday everybody, and as many of you know, I go by Farron on the forums, and I have been making themes for a long time, and I love it. So this theme, or this live stream, is where we can all come, hang out, have some fun, talk about theming, talk about LaunchBox, talk about gaming, and just have a good Friday afternoon. So, in general, if you have any kind of theme-related questions, if you want a particular theme, startup theme, pause theme, something created, and you have a mock-up or something, yeah, send it my way, and I will do my best to create it for you. Other than that, let's just hang out. How's everybody doing in the chat today? Matt, Tiermondis, Alfred, nice to see you guys. Hopefully you had a good week. It's been a busy couple weeks, hasn't it? Last week we released the 11.13 update, which contained a lot of our big features. The multi-sounds, the system, or the back button, holding down the back button to go into the system menu, and LaunchBox going into the system tray. And to be honest, when we were looking at theorizing that whole thing, I think my favorite idea was the multi-sounds. And now that I'm using it, my favorite thing of that update is probably the system tray, which was the lowest on my list. And I use it all the time. I love it. I love just having LaunchBox around and available whenever I need. So that came out, and of course released a bug fix a day after that update to 11.14, and then on the weekend, I think it was Saturday morning, and Microsoft decided to do an update of their Windows Defender, and it ended up flagging one of the DLLs and falsely flagging one of the DLLs in the LaunchBox directory as a false Trojan or something, and then we had to release 11.15, which actually did not contain any new anything other than just recompiling the program and sending it out to you guys. So now we're on 11.15, and so that happened at the same time. Last week we did release the community poll, so if you haven't voted or took the community poll yet, it's still open for a very short amount of time. I think it closes today automatically at a specific time. Definitely go and do that before it's too late. All of the information on there, highly valuable to us to help you in trying to direct what we do next in the next half a year or so for the remaining part of the year. So how are you guys doing? Dragonstorm LaunchBox is so freaking cool. I agree completely. And you wish you didn't take so long to download all the artwork and games. One thing that you can do, Dragonstorm, is when you import your games, don't download from emu movies, because the issue right now that we're having is that there is a using their API gives us 15 minutes before your credentials expire. And if you're importing thousands and thousands of games, and as we compile that list for you of all the media that comes with it, like some people are importing hundreds of thousands of media, and we're compiling 100,000 entries. It takes longer than the 15 minutes. So by the time we get to actually downloading it, your credentials have expired, and we have to issue a new login for you. And as we do that, then we're recompiling it. It's a mess. So what you should be doing is just import your games. You could even import your games without downloading any media. Just download the metadata. Get the games into LaunchBox. It'll be a lot faster, trust me. And then go back and just download the media afterwards, even if you have to do it in 500 game chunks or something. Although we do highly recommend that you just download. If you just download from the LaunchBox games database, you won't run into that huge problem. Yeah, so, and if you're looking for platform videos, or if you're looking for video snaps, so if you're looking for the video snaps on Emu Movies, yeah, do it at the end. Like, download all of your stuff first, download all of your images, and then afterwards go back and download your videos. You know, you'll find that you'll save tons of time. Now, we do have fixes coming in the new beta. You can try that out if you want. That should help. It's supposed to help, and if it does, please let us know in the beta thread on the forums. And how's everybody else doing before I lose all of your messages? Matt, you're looking forward to some sound packs? I'm looking forward to some sound packs. I actually created the default sound pack. Learned a lot. But, you know, the default sound pack, we have a lot of rules that we have to follow to do that. I can't wait to see what the community comes up with. There's already a mega sound pack released on the forums that people can download. I'm pretty sure people have already converted the hyperspin sounds if you're into that. You know, I can't wait to just see that snowball. And Chief Quimby, with the system sounds, you can import the hyperspin sounds. You can make the unified theme even more like hyperspin. Yes, that is true. I believe that's already somewhere on the forums, that you can just get the hyperspin sounds. And Tirmondis, you were wondering, are there any guides on making a theme with multi-videos, such as the arcade theme with multiple TVs playing gameplay? So you want more than one gameplay video being played per game. Is that what you're asking? Like, you have lots and lots of videos per each game, and you want each one to be playing at the same time? First, sounds like a cool idea. However, performance would probably be a big problem. What I'd probably do in that scenario, although this would be, I mean, it's annoying either way, right? Most people don't have more than one video per game. But if you did, I would be trying to render them into one video, if that makes sense. I'd like take both videos and I would somehow try to make them one, figure out some sort of bulk way to do that, and then the theme would look like it's playing multiple videos but really only playing one, and then therefore you get the benefit of it looking like lots of videos are playing, and you get the benefit of the performance of only having to play one video. And thank you, Retro. Yes, that's true. Rough matching is a great feature, but it also takes a long time because they have to scan each image. I don't even know how it works, but I'm assuming it's got to scan enough bytes of each image to determine whether they're similar or not. And Matt, does anyone happen to have a MAME high score indicator icon, something like genre or complete? So you're talking about something that you can use in Big Box, or something like within the badges system of LaunchBox? And Dragonstorm, the best emulator for arcade, I think most people will agree, considering that people use the word MAME interchangeably with arcade, like Matt just did there. MAME. Hey, Neil. Glad you could make it today. What's happening in this week's stream? Well, we're just getting started. I do want to talk about a couple things. Like, lots of stuff has been happening, especially theme-wise. We have lots of stuff coming. Dave, although I know he's really busy the next couple days, he assured me that he's going to finally release this version of the community theme creator tomorrow. I don't know if I should be saying anything. I'm pretty sure he mentioned that somewhere in his video. And he has a really good video that he released this week sometime on his YouTube channel that explains all the new features that he added to this over the last week or something. And he did a huge favor for me and added a brand new feature which I'm loving and I used in the community theme creator. But to be honest, it's going to help you guys out so much, like a crazy amount. And I'll show that off today. The other announcement is that I was working on the colorful theme last Friday, and at this point it's like 99% done. Basically, I just need people to go test it. There's one more thing that I have to add, but it doesn't impact performance. So I basically need people to use it and just confirm that there's no weird problems with it. It's basically a 1-to-1 match of the current colorful theme. And for people that don't know, that weren't here last week, basically Viking handed me the reins of maintaining the theme itself. He's going to keep control of making the videos and designing that sort of thing. So, and that's just because he did, of course, catch COVID and he was hospitalized and he is recovering, but now he's just realizing, he just can't handle the coding part of it, which, since he's not a native coder, he's always had to ask people for help when it came to coding. He was all, sending me messages and stuff, and I'm sure others, trying to figure out how to do things behind the scenes. And now he doesn't have to. Now he can just worry about a cool design in Photoshop, and then he can just hand it off to me, and I'll figure it out for him. And he did that. He released, I don't know if anybody's following his thread on the forums, he did make a number of new additions, just like Photoshop mockups, and I'll at some point in one of these streams be trying to integrate those in, talking about the different processes. So yeah, lots of stuff happening, but I will be doing something that someone mentioned on the forums. I didn't realize, and I'll get to it, but I'll probably be doing a remake of one of my really old themes. And just to end off on your guys' discussion here. So Matt, you want an indicator that it either has a high score or doesn't have a high score. And I'm assuming... Yeah, okay, so you said in Big Box. And I don't think that there is one, like a binding that just will like either toggle on or off. There's no like MAME high score, true or false, toggle of any kind. However, you could look up all the games that have MAME high score. Oh, apparently I'm getting told, hold on. Yes. I'm getting told that there is something in Big Box called the Flow Badge, and that will somehow tell you whether it has MAME high score or not. What that will do, okay, so I'm not sure what you're wanting to do. If you're just wanting to, use that property to say yes or no, this does have or this doesn't have, or if you're wanting to display your MAME high score badge, you can do both. Now it sounds like I got somebody in my ear, but I don't. You can probably do both with that flow badge, although I'll have to figure out at least the second part of that. The flow badge, you can basically say, display the MAME high score badge on the games that use it. So if that's all you want, hey, it should be that simple. And I'm pretty sure that I've showed off that element before in a past video. And yeah, if you can't figure it out, just send me a message on the forums. Because on the second part, if you're wanting to like do something with that data, if you're wanting to say, yes, it does have it, or no, it doesn't, and now I want to use that to do something else with it, that should still be possible, but it'll take some ingenuity. None of that, though, I believe, is on the community theme creator, although I'm sure it'll be coming at some point. And Alfred, do I know if there are any plans for the community theme creator to add tools for wall views? There is. So I do believe that he added the new wall views. Let's just take a look. Yeah, so the 4 wall views are there, but they don't do anything yet other than the old wall view system is in place. But that's next on Dave's list. And he's not just going to incorporate wall views. My understanding is that he's going to try and implement an entire wheel profile system that will allow you, and that'll come with a couple of benefits. He's going to try to make it so we can finally see the wheels, so that we don't have to go into Big Box to see them. That's probably going to be a big struggle for him, but I know he's determined to do that. And then with that, he's going to use the new wheel system to allow us to create multi-image and text binding wheels visually within the editor, and then take those creations and apply them to things like the wall view, things like the any view really, to be honest. Right, because I know a lot of people remember, I think it was 11.10 as the new wall view update, but as a theme creator, yes, we got a couple new wall views, or a few new wall views, but the heart of that was actually a brand new wheel cover flow that we got. We can now like create cover flow templates and use multiple items inside of the wheel itself and have like this huge control, and then that wheel can be used on any view basically. And also, you just build a small Ryzen APU PC, and you're now importing all your games in the LaunchBox. And you're talking about you're using, I guess, that level 101 theme. Is there any way to keep box art of the game screen? It shows and then disappears right now. Yeah, so that was a choice, just like what Retro's saying there. That was a choice by the theme creator to do that. And what's great about the guy that made that theme is that I'm pretty sure he releases his project files for the program that you're seeing on the screen, and you can download them, input them into the community theme creator, and then just make the change visually to stop the animation from being deleted. Right, so you would load it up and into this theme creator, and let me just kind of show you a little bit of what you do. You would enter into the theme that you're looking at, or the view, and see here, this box here, it fades in and then it fades out, just like probably what you're saying. And I would find the box art element like this, and then I would scroll down, and here's all the animations that controls it fading in, fading out, all that junk. And I would just delete them, delete them one at a time. You can right click delete, and then you save that, and then you would just go up here and publish your theme. Once you publish the theme, the next time you open up Big Box, the new files will magically be there, and you'll have a box that doesn't disappear. Although if you're wanting me to do that for you, let me know. I can probably do that quickly. If you just want the box, you'll just have to let me know which view that you're using that the box fades out, and then we can take a look together. And Dr. Suicide, any plans to add pause and startup theme creations? I definitely want to get to it. I definitely want to show people how to do it, because they are fairly simple compared to an entire theme. And, I think we've all told Dave at some point this would be a good addition, and he agrees, and he just needs time. He just needs time. Yeah, also, I can, yeah. Just let me know, and I'll go quickly to take a look for sure. But definitely let me know which view you're referring to. I'm assuming one of the game views. Let's take a look. Level 101. Or LV 101. I'll find it here somehow. And while I look for the project files, if you can let me know exactly. All right, I'm definitely not getting it here. There it is. All right, let me double check. Does it have the project files? If you want to make changes, download the creator tools here. Oh, there it is. And downloading now. So this will be good for anybody wanting to download community theme files. I can basically show you what it's going to look like and where to place them. So I'll go to downloads. There they are here. I just downloaded them. And you can see here, it's just a folder and everything inside of that folder. Oop. It's going to look like this. A bunch of text files, a bunch of folders, big box overrides folder, media folder. You know, as soon as you see these text files, you realize this is for the community theme creator. This is not for big box. All right, so I take this folder. I find my community theme folder, go into my theme projects, and I just dump them in here. All right. And so there you go. That's basically the import process. And now over here, and let's see if I have to do anything to make it show up. No, I don't even have to do anything. There it is, LV 101. I'll click there, and now it's going to change the entire view to the theme creator, or change the entire theme creator to this theme. And you can see here the little dots. The filled in ones are the views that are part of this theme, and the blank ones, there's no view for that theme. Another way you can check is here. Anything with this little icon is created. Anything without the icon, you could create and add to the theme if you wanted to. Let's take a look. Some are named platform. We've got 2 horizontal game views and one text game view, which is mandatory. So let's just take a look at each one and see which one sparks that thing for you. Is it this view? Let's see if that box goes away. It is not going away, so I'm assuming it's not this one. Let's try the second one here. Is it this one? I don't see. Oh, and you can see up here, which is kind of funny. These are old elements that Dave retired. and he calls it obsolete for us to indicate. So it's not this one. So it's the text games view. I mean, it's the only one I can think of. Okay, there it comes. It's this one. I'm assuming it goes away, and then a video plays. Okay, so that's what's happening. Are you wanting the box to stay there and the video to play behind it, or you don't even care about the video? You just want the box to stay there and ignore the video. Like maybe your setup doesn't have a video and you didn't even notice that there was going to be a video behind there. So you do have static images. It's actually maybe beneficial for you to not see the video there, because actually you're just wanting the box to just not move. What you're actually probably wanting to do is, just by looking at this theme, the box has animations, which you don't want. But then also, or maybe you want the animations to be there. Do you want the box to fling into the side and just stay there? You still want it to like come in, and then it looks like a screenshot appears in the background, and then he fades away the screenshot, and in comes the video. So you just want that screenshot to stay there and get rid of the video. So step one, let me just take a look at how he has created this. So there's the box art. There's the selected item video. I'm going to delete that. And here's a screenshot that, let me just take a look at what this does. So once selected, I just don't want it to fade out, which is this one. Okay, and then the box, I'm assuming you want the box to fade, to jump in, but not jump out. So he's got a bunch of stuff going on here. I'm assuming, okay, so once selected, you just don't want these end things to happen, which is having it fade away, having it rotate out, and move to the side. And that should do it for you. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, let's just see if I'm correct. And then the only other thing is that rectangle element that looks like it's loading something, and when it gets to the end of the animation, like this thing fades out. Do you need that that element at all? Probably not. I mean, unless you like that, let me know, or else I'll just find it and remove it. Let me see if it's this one. No. It's not in there. Let's go down here. Let's see what each one of these are. He's doing some masking. Ah, there. Load bar. Let's get rid of that. Shadows, scan lines, screenshots. Interested to know what scan lines he's using. They do look nice. Okay, so I am going to save that off for you. See if everything else is good for that. And then I can just basically send you this. It's kind of weird that he made 4 different elements for the border. You could do that in one element. It doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah, I'll send that off to you. Probably just the one file, right? That's all you need. And you just replace that file. But if you can do me a favor, send me a message on the forums, Faeran, F-A-E-R-A-N, and then I'll remember to reply to it with this file. In the meantime, I will publish it for you. And then I will send it to you when you send me the message on the community forums. And sorry if I'm missing a lot of your guys' chats there. It looks like Seabeats, you're around. Thank you for answering some questions. Looks like some questions were asked. Have you given any thought about having an indicator, perhaps an icon on the thumbnails to show if a game has been combined with another game? That does sound like badges. I think that's one part of LaunchBox that's lacking. Yeah, so that does sound like the badges system. And Seabeats, there you are. You're referring to the multiple versions badge. It sounds like either the multiple versions badge or the multiple discs badge. Both have uses for a particular reason. Yeah, so that is available, which is cool. And the next question you're saying a lot, also you're saying next noob question. You've downloaded the themes through the LaunchBox menu. So in Big Box, I'm assuming. So you download through Big Box, and so let's just assume that this is your LaunchBox folder. Your themes, your Big Box themes, I should say, are located inside of this themes folder. So you would go in here, and you'll find that I've got maybe too many, but you will have a lot less folders, each folder representing a theme. In this case, here's LV101, so you'll go in there. I will send you a file. That file will probably be called textgamesview.xaml. Right, so you can see here, you'll see a list exactly like this inside of this fuse folder, and then you'll just drag and drop and replace this file here with the one I'm going to send you. And do that when Big Box is closed, and then launch Big Box, and you'll see the changes instantly. And then don't update the theme again. If you update the theme, it will overwrite this file. So make sure you keep a backup of this one file just in case you accidentally update this theme to its default. Oh, and you don't have to be sorry. That's what all of this, that's what this is about. Anybody that has questions, especially these theme-related questions, are if anybody has any, please ask away, and I will eventually get to all of them. Oh, that was great. So, let's see. Back in 2016, I was brand new to LaunchBox, and the Big Box theming just sort of came out, and I was like, maybe I'll see what it's like to get into this. And I decided to create what ended up coming out as RetroFresh. And at the time of learning, I'm like, let's see if I can create a theme that uses absolutely no images or anything, just like code, so I can learn how to code. And RetroFresh was born, and then after that I did a bunch of updates to RetroFresh. I did a lot of versions of RetroFresh, and the one that was requested was one's called RetroFresh Detailed, and it was one that I did for somebody else. It wasn't my main one, but what it had with the alteration from the regular RetroFresh was basically the game notes. You could see a lot of game notes. You could see a lot of the platform notes and stuff like that are sort of defaulted in that theme. And when I ported over RetroFresh, I never really ported over RetroFresh Detailed. And I was curious, like somebody just reminded me of the theme. Uh-oh. Edward, there's no sound on your end. I think it's just on your end. I feel like people are hearing me, and I do see the levels go up and down. But if he doesn't hear me, I guess you're not hearing anything I'm saying. So if anybody wants to tell Edward that it is on his end, that probably will help him out. And also, can you have custom music playing in Big Box? Yes, you can actually. You can do it a number of ways. I'm pretty sure you can do it either just like general background music. You could have like general background music. You can do background music per platform. I'm pretty sure. So you could do that. And I did that once when I was trying to recreate the NES Mini sort of screen. I just download the music, put it in the right folder. I'm pretty sure you have to go into the music folder. There is a music folder here. And you just... Is there a platforms folder? There is not. If anybody remembers, I had recently looked it up. And when I say recently, it's probably a month or two ago. But yes, there is a way to do it. And hey, Mr. Retrolust. And Edward, now that you can hear us. Thanks for joining. So, RetroFresh. I am just going to do it off the top of my head. I'm going to basically say, okay, if I was going to create RetroFresh right now, but keep the theme the way that it sort of was back in the day, how long would it take me to recreate that detailed version of that theme? And yeah, let's give it a shot. I'm going to create RetroFresh detailed. Hey, Obsidian. Happy Friday to you. Let's go and start with a platform view. So if I remember correctly, the RetroFresh detailed platform view, the way that I wanted it at the time in 2016 was like, I wanted to display the video, and that was it. And I didn't really know how to do that, to be honest. So I just made a video element in the code at the time, and then made it full screen. And that was basically the entire view. Then I placed the wheel here, kind of in the middle. Let me just make sure it's going all the way there. Oh, do I have it not locked to the canvas? I do have it locked to the canvas. Okay. That was odd. That's just not updating the number. But the number's good. And then I did create a frame. I think at the time it was a border. I guess in this case I'll just do it as a frame. No, maybe I'll do it as a grid. That makes more sense to me. And let's see, how high do I want it? Maybe 300? Maybe 350? Something like that. Then 2560. There we go. And then I'll do that so that I can place the wheel inside of it. And then the wheel, I'll just make sure that it is centered into the middle. Okay. I will up that to 300 and make sure that that's centered. So far, so good. And then I'm pretty sure I had a background color. And I did something like a gray. Maybe somewhere there. And then I turned down the alpha channel to about 40%, if I remember correctly, to give it that icy glass look. All right, so far, look, we've got 3 elements, and I'm basically done. However, I did do a couple other things, if I recall correctly. I basically made a rectangle with the same foreground. Oops. The same color. It's not foreground, is it? It's background. Oh, no background. Okay. It's background to foreground. 40%. And I placed it over the wheel. Now in this case, I'll probably do something like, it's 40%, right? So I want this one to maybe be 30%. And then the background, I want it to be is like 10%. And now I'm going to just make it the same size. Therefore, together, they will equal 40%. I'm hoping. And the reason I really want to do this is because then part of the wheel will remain behind the object, and part of the wheel in the middle will be centered. So I'm just going to eyeball this. So somewhere here, I'll probably have to adjust that later. And then I'll copy and I'll paste this. And I'll place this one on the other side. Let's see what we got here. 909. Okay. I'll definitely want to bring this out a little bit, I would say. $970. So then I'll adjust this to 970 and see what we got. Okay, that looks a little better. Maybe like the middle one won't have that. So let's take a look. Let's do a little bit of a math. So let me take the calculator out. Where did that go? Went somewhere. Maybe it's behind this. No. It was behind that. Okay, so if my full width canvas is 2560 and I've got 2 elements that are 970, and so I'll just minus 970. That leaves me with a 620 rectangle that I'll have to do. Paste. And then this one will actually go under the wheel. And 620. And it will, the position of it should, whoa, okay. I did put that inside. I guess that's fine. The position of it should be, actually this actually makes a lot more sense if I just positioned it in here, doesn't it? All right. So if I'm looking at this one is width 970. So this one should begin at 970. It looks like one solid bar with the added exception that in the middle, the item will look more clear than the other one. This is sort of how I did it back in the day. It's probably a better way to do that now. And Mr. Retroless, you have a question. Okay. I love that question, actually. What is the difference between frames, view boxes, and grids? So here's a little history about why there's the naming of these 5 items. I'm assuming that means you kind of understand docks and stacks, but I'll include those in the answer. And then if it requires a demonstration, let me know. But let's start with frames, because I think that's the most interesting one. So frame, like Dave basically took the elements of XAML of WPF and basically said, how can I do this to not confuse the people using my program? And he basically either used a different word than what it actually is called in XAML if you were to code it, or he developed or used a word and then is only using it for a very specific circumstance. So each one does something very specific in the program. And if you were to just like code with it, it'll actually do other stuff that you can't do in here. But in the end, these 5 elements give you that full functionality. Whoa, okay. And so frames, essentially, if you know what borders are in XAML, that's what a frame is. Let me just save this before something happens. Okay, the other thing is the wheel. Clear logo, horizontal images, and I'm going to use the horizontal wheel type. This is his good starting point, I should say. As a little like assist or preset. And that's basically it. And then I think maybe a year later, I realized you could do animations. And so I took the grid, which everything you can see is inside of it, and I gave it a little animation. So I did opacity. Immediately I want it to show. During selection, of course, I want it to show. So whatever it's at, go to 100% and maybe do like a little fade of 0.2 seconds. And then once I've selected an item and stopped at a system, I do want to go from current opacity to 0, but I do want it to stay on the screen for a good 2.5 seconds or something, and then fade out in a second. Let's say something like that. There you go. That should be it for this view. Let's take a look and see if this little thing fades out. Actually, I didn't actually do that, did I? Instead, I faded it out to about 30%. And the reason I did that is I wanted to see it. I always get disoriented when it fades out completely and it just like comes back into view. I want to know what the systems are in the left and right. So I left it a little there. Okay. So back to your question, Mr. Retrolust. A border or a frame is basically a border in XAML. And what that means is it's got some unique properties that you can use. The first one is that you can curve frames. So that's why they've got this corner radius. Like I can basically come here and give it different numbers and it'll curve the sides, you know, top left, top right. And you can see here that it's curved this side because I told it to. There's 25, 25. It also has background properties. It also has border. This is the only one where it actually has a border. So I could give it a border if I wanted to, like a border of 5. And you can see here, oh, it's given that nice border on the side there. And then I can take that border This is the only element where you've got borders and you've got the ability to curve the corners. And then you can take the color and give it something like really cool, like a linear gradient, and then say something like this side, make it, actually this side, make it darker. Actually, that's not going to work, is it? Let's do this. I don't even know what I'm doing, but it gives you that idea of what can be done. Right, and that's what a frame is. Now, the other thing to keep in mind, a frame, you can only put one element inside of it. And I'm pretty sure that is true here. So if I had multiple types of elements and I put something inside of it, it should not let me put something else inside of it. See there? Only one element inside of a frame. So that's, however, so if I want to just generally go through, grids, docks, and stacks are the only ones where you can have multiple elements inside of it, although with different rules. So if I put a grid, so you can parent elements, which basically means this border. I can have this border and I can have the little corner radiuses and use those. And then I can take the grid and I can put it inside of the frame. And then I can now place multiple elements inside of the grid. So giving me the option of still using a frame as the parent, but having lots of elements inside of it. Right, and now I can, position stuff wherever here. So as an example, you can have stuff here. And here I can have something else. Platform clear logos, and I can basically place it anywhere. And that brings us to grids. So grids are also used differently than its XAML counterparts. And instead, grids are like mini canvases. Basically, think of them like a giant, like a painting, like a giant piece of paper. And you can just place things anywhere on that piece of paper. So this image, I can just drag around inside of this grid, and it won't let me go outside of that grid. And I can just be put that there, put this here, make it smaller. Now, because of that, you can't use a grid to do things like horizontal and vertical alignment, because the grid doesn't know where the items are placed inside of it. It's just one nice canvas. So think of it like that. And grids can be placed inside of other grids, and you can have grids in certain locations. So why would you do that? Why would you have all of these parent elements? The benefit really here, let's say I had all of this. Oops, wrong button. If I locked all of the child elements and just had the frame there, I can now move that frame and all of the elements come with it, and I can then reposition everything the way that I want very easily without having to move each individual element. So those are grids and frames. The last one, which is a little more confusing, ViewBox. So a ViewBox allows you to place items inside of it, and the item inside of it will dynamically change its size depending on the ViewBox properties. Also, ViewBoxes, you can only have one thing inside of it. It does allow you to place things like grids inside of it to have more than one, so it has all that frame properties. But the only benefit, like it does everything that the other parents do, let's say frames, other than frames' unique property is the corner radius. Viewbox's unique property is the dynamic resizing, and particularly of text elements. So, and I'll give you an example of that. Let's use the text box for that. So let's say I've got metadata and I want to tell everybody the platform name. And I've got some really cool font. I really like this font, let's say, that looks like I can barely read it, and I want it to be giant. So I make it 50, 100. And there it is. It's nice and great. And say I auto size it, so it just sizes it to the font. But we know that, let's say I'm like right here, and I basically say, okay, I like this, but I don't want Sega Genesis. I don't want, like, if I have a particular size that I want it to be. So let's say I want it to, I have Super Nintendo as a platform, then I know that this is going to get like really big and go across my screen. But what if I just wanted it to stop right here? Well, I could create a view box, and I can say, like, here's one thing that you could do. I say, I want the view box to end right here. And then I can place the text inside of it. Tell the view box, place it in the middle, all that good stuff. And now what the view box will do for me is, if I switch to another system, it will dynamically change the size of the text to fit the box that I put it in. So now if I have a longer title, it will auto resize to the box and lower the amount of size of the text. So that's what Viewbox will do for you. So if you're one of those people, I'd rather see the whole title, but I don't want it to be past this point, right? Because the other option is to give it a size, to say, like, okay, if I was outside of this, I could potentially, look how long this is, I could potentially say, I only wanted it to be this size, but, when it gets to that width, don't go further. Instead, do something called trimming, which basically gives it this ... to indicate that there was more that should have come after that. So that's another way to do it. The third way you could do it is through wrapping. So you could just say, I want to see it all. However, I can wrap it around, and now it'll just get bigger or smaller depending on how many words there are. Now I'm getting into other text related things, but that's 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 what Viewbox. Those are the choices. Of course, with this choice, you have to make sure, okay, if I'm going to use this, I need this space to be blank. If it's a one word thing, if this was SNK Neo, I have to make sure that this space underneath it does not have anything there, or else it's going to go over it. So it's choices that a theme developer has to create. You notice in the colorful theme, that's what Viking decided to do, right? He left a giant white space above the title so that the title could wrap upwards if it got too long, right? And I remember seeing people ask, like, why don't you fill in something in that white space? And he's like, well, I have something there. You're just not seeing it because the title's not long enough. It's just the choices. Okay, so did I leave anyone out? Those were those three. Okay, so the last two, which are not actually, you did not ask about, but just in case somebody's curious, in the theme creator, a doc will actually... So the reason why it's called a dock is because in XAML, you literally dock things into certain areas. So you can basically say this element, dock it to the top left corner, and dock this to the top center, and dock that. That's not how docks work in the theme creator. In the theme creator, a dock is horizontal stacking of items. I don't know how I can I say that without using the word stack? It horizontally lines items up next to each other. So I can make this as big as I can, and then I will place items like this text inside of it, you know, and it puts it in there, and I can say this text, you know, make it auto size. This is where the auto sizing really comes in effect. That's still kind of big, isn't it? Okay, so maybe I can say don't auto size it, make it 300 or something. Actually, here, I'll put it in the view box, and then the view box will go inside of it, and the view box determines how wide I want it to be. I'm gonna say make it this wide, and then this. Okay, so you can see I've made it that wide, and then now I can basically say, okay, create an image of something. Like the device. Of course, I don't have a device of the Neo Geo Pocket Color. Let's see if I've got a Sega CD. Do I just not have any devices, maybe? I don't know. Okay, so if I don't have any devices, I'll use a different image type. Like the default. No, I don't have any of the defaults either. There you go. I thought I had banner. Maybe I have a banner. Okay, so there's the banner. And now the banner, I also want to auto size. If I auto size, it's going to be the size of the actual image. And I can place this inside of here now. And you can see here that I now have two items, technically, the dock seeing, the image and the view box. And you can see here that the image is coming first because it's the first item in the dock. And I can move that around. If I want this to be there, now all of a sudden it's changed. So that's docking. And I can make it so I can spread it out using these margins. So if this image, I wanted it to have like a little space, I can put like a little 25 pixel space between them. And that's dock. Stacking's exactly the same, but for vertical. So I can do the exact same thing here inside of a stack. And there you are. I don't know why that should probably do something like this. Make this bigger. Right, and now I can like change if I wanted to. And those are the 5. That was 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parent elements coming tomorrow in this new version of the community theme creator. And all of them can be stacked together. I'm using the word stack, and people are going to confuse that with the actual element stack, but you can parent all of them into each other to develop the technique or the visual elements that you want to see in which position. They all have their own benefits, and they all have their own weaknesses. Anyway, there you go. Apparently I left that frame in there. Let's get rid of them. And also, are there more themes available to download than the ones that you download directly in Big Box? Okay, so the deal with that is the themes that you download in Big Box have been vetted by us, the people that work on LaunchBox, to make sure that they perform well enough for you guys. So you know that the ones that you get in Big Box are like, have been tested. We basically test them in different machines all night long, or maybe a couple nights, make sure that there's no big problems with them. The ones that then there's a ton other themes. Now, a theme creator would have to submit it to us, and there is a website that you can use to submit your themes for people that want to. I wish it was more prevalent, but it really only use this link if you're trying to submit a theme. I'm gonna make sure that link is working. Okay. I apparently got to sign into the chat for you guys. That is not fun. Oh, that is weird. Okay. All right, it signed in and then it just started showing me my own video back at me instead of the chat. Makes me miss the Twitch days. Twitch is much better integration. Of all of this stuff than okay, there you guys are. Okay. For any theme creators out there, and you feel like your theme is good enough to be put into the managed themes downloader, use this link, and you can submit your theme for us to test. Now, you can go on to the forums, and there's like so many more themes on there because anybody can release any of their themes on there, and the forums are basically used as a way for people to instantly distribute their themes to anybody. It's also used as sort of like a testing ground for your themes. So before you submit anything here, you can submit it on the forums, have people use it, make sure that you don't have any glaring issues with it, fix up the problems that you may have with it, and then use this link to submit it so that it can appear inside of Big Box for everybody to use. Okay, so there's so many good themes out there, and what's great about Big Box and LaunchBox and other types of themes like startup themes, pause themes, all that good stuff. There's so many out there that I don't know. What are your guys' favorite themes that you have seen that are not part of the inside of the Big Box managed themes downloader? I mean, here's one. I'll do one. And then you guys can tell Alzo what your favorites are. For me, it would take me so long to list all of them. But you know, check out some of Neil's or Rincewind's. Got tons out there on the forums. Let me just highlight one of them. Like this one, the Rogue theme. Right, that's a really nice, sleek one. And that one's only found on the forum. Stuff like that. Of course, Mr. Retrolust Neon Deluxe Arcade, although the criteria was that it's not inside of the managed themes. Isn't that one part of the managed theme? Anyway, there's just lots. So you can go through it. We have an entire section on the forums in the downloads tab, and then you can go here. Big box custom themes. You can see here, there's 150 themes there that you can go through. All have been created over a number of years. You know, compared to the whatever there is on the theme creator, 20 theme creator in the managed themes downloader section. Okay. It isn't on there? I thought you recreated it in the theme creator, didn't you, Mr. Retrolist? Which means it should be okay. You're really saying that it breaks the attract mode, your theme? And Edward, you're saying Unified Refried with Quaso Fresco add-on. Yeah, there's a history on that one. So, like, Unified Refried is just a skin remake of the Unified theme. And it also comes with this add-on that adds, like, megs and megs of graphics and stuff to it. Ah, the old version, I see. Yeah. Also, you're building your machine to sit in the living room? Yes, that's one great way to use LaunchBox, that's for sure. And the reason why that guy did it in an add-on, and sorry, I'm forgetting his name on the forums, although I'm sure you guys know what his name is. He, at the time, I mean, he reached out to me, and luckily we just got something called per platform views, and he used those to create. He wanted to position the video element in different spots depending on which layout you have, which is a benefit and not a benefit at the same time, depending on how you use Big Box. Anyway, let's get to the next thing. But yeah, he had a bucket load of graphics and stuff that he was able to throw at that theme, and it looks great. Okay, so let's create our first wheel view. Is it coming? Oh, I've got to create it now. Here we go. All right, so how would this theme look? Let's say I had a grid that was about here. Actually, you know what I'll do? So I'm going to jump in here, and I'm going to utilize the exact same item and paste it in here. Oh, wonderful. It's got a wheel inside of it and it won't let me. Okay, let me grab it without the wheel. Get that wheel out of there. I'm gonna grab this just for all of its elements. Retro humanoid, that's right. Yeah, he's not really around anymore. I haven't talked to him in a while, but I'm pretty sure it was just life, you know. Sometimes life just gets in the way. of what you really want to do. Hey, Willie. What is LaunchBox? Who can answer that for Willie? Okay, so we're gonna create this first view, something like this. Oh, 700 sounds pretty good, right? So let's say something like that, and then I will make the height really big here. There you go. So this is our wheel. Now we've got a bunch of rectangles that are in weird positions. So let me get them back into position. Oops. Let's actually make this 700. Okay, so we've got all of our wheel elements that we need. And now I just have to figure out what I want to do with them. Oh. So this one here, I want all the way to the bottom. And then I'm going to make it, let's see, what can I do? Probably 600 is good. And then the second one will do the same thing. 600. And of course now I'm seeing that was a mistake. And we're going to bring that back to about 500. Maybe 520. So hopefully people are answering you, Willie, because it can be a complex subject if you're not really familiar with the whole retro scene, and all you've really done is maybe RetroPie, or maybe you've only done something like I don't know, some sort of pre-build, or some sort of, maybe you've only used RetroArch, and you're like, well, LaunchBox just looks like RetroArch, but it's not really, it's not an emulator. It's a front end for all of your games on your computer, whether it be retro or modern, and it consolidates everything from every place and just puts it into one menu for you to launch your games with. And then it can also do a lot more. So it's not for everybody, right? It's for people that want to have full control of all of their retro nostalgic needs, or full control over their all of their games, whether it be retro or whether it be modern, from all the different storefronts. And then allows you to organize it in virtually any way that you can imagine. And then as long as it's for a tinkerer, somebody that wants to go in and really, really make it exactly the way that they want. So it can display your games in a specific way, have attached documents that you might want to display, and then have to clean up your library to make it look nice. And then it's got a whole bunch of ease of use features that are sort of hidden in the program, like the ability to automatically group all of the disk-based games together, and then have it control easily to swap those disks in and out depending on where you are in the game. Stuff like that. And of course, this whole part that we're doing today, which is the theming part, making it look in a particular way that you want it to look. And yeah, Alzo, thank you for stopping by. I'm glad we were able to answer some of your questions. Does the front end work with controllers? Yes, it does. So both LaunchBox and BigBox do have controller support, although BigBox is designed for controllers in mind. So BigBox is sort of like the big picture version of LaunchBox. And then you can use controllers and then launch into an emulator. And then in that emulator, you would set up your controller the way that you want. And then they kind of work in tandem. So what's funny is that LaunchBox does have controller support even for the free version. But the automation part of the controllers in LaunchBox is still for premium members. But it's like, even if it does better than like Steam, for example, you can't use a controller just using the Steam overlay or the Steam launcher. It does better than that. Retro, yeah, no problems. But yeah, just download it and try LaunchBox. It's free. You can import as many games as you want. Try out, the vast number of features in LaunchBox is free. All right, let me figure out what's going on here. I did not do the sizing properly here. So height 520, height 520, okay. And then this middle one, bring it down. Let me just see what's going on here. 1440. My trusty calculator is going to tell me that that this one needs to be sized at 400. And we're going to position it down to 520. The Y position. Now we're going to dump the wheel right in between there. Make the wheel a bit smaller. Something like that. We'll make it centered. And then we'll start it at the Y position of 0 and go all the way to 1440 to span the length of this border. And so what that does is that these rectangles are over top of the wheel, but the middle rectangle is below it. So the middle one should look a little brighter than the rest. Now I'm going to have to do vertical wheel. There you go. And it's clear logo. So we'll have to really play around with that later. And there's no animations to this. Let me get rid of that before it's too late. Okay, so RetroFresh detailed. Let's go to the next part of this theme. This theme should be split into multiple areas. The first area will just be a giant box art, which has always been a problem with this theme, to be honest. Box art. Let's take a look, because this really only does well when you've got vertical or portrait boxes. Game box front. There you are. And I'm just going to eyeball this to about there. Oh, I forgot that we need another image, and that image needs to be in the background. Background. There we go. And we're going to full screen it, and this one's going to become our background fan art image. I'm surprised a lot of people don't know about this, but I tend to use fan art image as the background in general, but a lot of games don't have fan art background. So what I find is, like, when I see people using this old theme, that the background just ends up being black. But if you went into LaunchBox and you set the background fan art priorities to use other image types, if there is no fan art background, like a common one you can use is it's just a screenshot or some other image, then at least you would have something in the background filling it with color. So there's fan art. I almost feel like I should have a fallback, but for now I won't. And I'm gonna stretch this guy because I'm really only using it for color. I'll fill it up. And we're gonna put a blur that, I think I did 80. Let's switch to a game that has a background. Let's go to Sega Genesis. And Matthew, thanks for stopping by, and yeah, thanks for the compliment. I'm glad you're able to get some takeaway out of it, which is nice to know. And Killer Instinct, sorry I missed your comment. What theme is this? This is I'm recreating my old RetroFresh Details theme. All right, let's go to what game should we look at today? I was a big Golden Axe 2 fan back in the day. Oh, that's really bright. And a Golden Axe fan. Okay, let's do that. So you can see it's going to be a blurred background. I'm really only using it for color. And I think so far we're okay. I'm going to keep the box to the left so that it's positioned to what we basically need here. Let's paste the background on this. There we go. And then this has got to be 40% instead of 10. Okay. So far, so good. And I'll bring this out like that. And we'll make this a bit bigger to match that height. So let's take a look. This height is Y position of 53. Let's just bring that down to 50. Nice round 50. And then I'll do the same with the background or the box art. That'll give me a good size. 980 sounds like a good size there. Okay, so we've got the grid there, and we know we need an image that's going to be the platform clear logo. And for that, let's just see what it's going to look like. So platform, game platform. Oh no, just platform clear logo. And we're going to dump it inside of this grid. So this is the grid for the platform clear logo. Now I'm just going to size it to something. I mean, that's not bad. Let's make it a bit smaller. Right, and then I'm just going to, I can right click here, align it to vertically center. And then inside of the box there, I'm just going to make it vertically centered like that. Okay. So that's not bad. Giant Genesis logo. So this will be beneficial, I realize later, when you're scrolling through games based off of like a search or a different type of filter to keep track of the game and where the game actually, which platform the game came from when you're scrolling through all of your games. Yeah, and thanks for answering the question, guys, from Willie. Yeah, lots of themes. I think it was just going over, counted almost 100, and I think maybe over 150 themes, big box themes on the forums. So it's quite the collection. Okay, let's place this guy somewhere. Now I'm gonna get him out of the way and do sort of like a top section here. Do some organization. Now what's funny is that the way Dave did this is that this is just an image that he made. He kind of cheated. He doesn't, we're positioning an element based off of an image, so we're not actually knowing what this will look like perfectly. But I know he wants to get around to making this more of a real element we can edit. For now, I think we're doing okay just positioning this somewhere here. All right, let's make it a bit bigger. Okay, I'm just gonna make it invisible. Next. Let's paste another element here. And I'm going to start it in the same X position as this box to keep it nice and squared away with everything. So this one will basically be the description. Oh, and now that I just realized that I'm building the wrong theme here. This should not be the logo. Okay, so the box starts at 716. No, wait, at 823. So I'll make this grid also start at that same. There you go. And then I'll just something like that. And inside of there was a text scroll inside of this description grid. And this will be a text scrolling of the game notes. And if I remember correctly, I was trying to use a font because at the time you couldn't really bundle fonts together with your theme, although that has changed. So at the time I basically was trying to use a Windows font that looked half decent, and I think at work I was doing the same sort of thing, and so I just tried to get some sort of light. I'm pretty sure I used this font. And let me get rid of the background. Actually, let's actually get the game notes out. There we go. And now we're going to find the background, get rid of it. All right. Let's soften this white a little bit. And we'll give it some padding. So far, so good. Align it to the center. And we'll give the padding up in the top and go all the way to the bottom. Ooh, push that down, and now I've got to recenter it. Okay, so now I can just deal with the font and the font sizes. So if I remember correctly, something like 22. That still looks too small. 26. That's probably better, but let's just notch it up one more time. Probably has to be played around with as people stand further back. Let's say they're using it on their TV, the font might have to be bigger. If they're using it on a handheld, that font might have to be smaller. Or maybe bigger. If they're using it on their computer, this is probably a good size. All right, let's take a look at this scroll speed. Always a tough one, depending on how fast you read. That's really slow. Let's start it at like 10 because it's quite long. so you almost have to, you can read a lot before it starts scrolling, but then once it starts scrolling, yeah, that's got to be faster. And Edward, you're saying these theming streams remind me of Jason's development stream. Yeah, a little bit, doesn't it? I know Jason got burnt out with those streams, and you know, he's always said in his videos, if you watch them, he's sort of like the behind the scenes guy that was thrust into the spotlight, and he just was never the most comfortable in that scenario. So I think it works out great right now. I'm going to speed this up to 10 and let that go. And where I thought that the platform logo would go, actually the text goes there. So I have to remember what font I used. Or should we just use any font? Let's go against the grain. And so I'll create the text element, I'll place it in the grid, and we're now calling this the grid for game information. And in fact, I could probably just, I should be separating this to something like game information. We're going to place that there. Now we're going to place that inside of there. And let's take a look. So we've got the platform name, or we got the game name that we want to get to. Let's go to, say, I don't really know what font yet, but I do know that I want it to be the game name. And so here's the perfect scenario for the view box, right? Because I want it to be big. Actually, let me think about this. Maybe it's not the perfect scenario for a view box. Maybe this is the perfect scenario for text wrapping. So we could potentially have it horizontally centered. I gotta center it here, and then wrap it with overflow, and then maybe do trimming. No, let's just wrap it with overflow. And we'll try to use a skinny font. Okay, so I think we're at the point where we need a font that's, I feel like I used some sort of Atari font or something originally. Let's take a look and see if we can get a cool looking font. We got the Nintendo Switch font, although that one's really wide. I've used a lot of these fonts in the past. I do like Scout because it's got all these condensed versions of it. Something that I did not think of is that I want to dim this guy down a bit. I mean, let's keep going. Do I have anything? I think this is the exact font that I used. Sure, I found it. so I might as well just use it. We'll make this bigger, 45. Okay, so something like that. You know what? Just for positioning, because I don't want to leave a blank space, I am going to use a view box. And so this view box will go inside of this information. And then I'm going to position it exactly where I want it to be. Center it up, then place this inside of it. That will not use wrap, and instead just center yourself up. I'll probably put it at the bottom. That'll make more sense. Auto size yourself. See how auto sizing will change the height or the size of the font to fill the space. Okay, now the view box, I've got to center it. There we go. So at this point, I can just make the view box smaller until it gets to the size that I want. Something like that. And then it will dynamically keep itself in that view box. Okay, so we're good with that. I have to remember what all the other stuff was. Let me take a quick peek because I'm forgetting. I believe we added a release date and maybe some other stuff. Genre was probably there. And there's been so many things added to since 2016 or 2017 that I could probably fill up this space with some information. We'll see. I'll just take a quick peek of the original version of this theme. Okay. Here it is. So all I did was the developer name or publisher. I'm not sure which one. I tend to go with developer if I had to choose one. And then I had the release date under it. And it looks like I did... Looks like I'm missing some shadows. So we can add that simply by going to Effect, Drop Shadow, and I will use one of these nice assists here to get something that I like better than this. Don't mind that, actually. Let me just double check there's nothing else. Okay, so I do like this one, but I'm going to add either 1 or 2. There you go. And then I'll just reduce the opacity a little bit. More. A little bit more. Okay, that's better. And so I will also add to the notes. Okay. I'm also forgetting that I put borders around the grid, and I'm regretting that because to get a border around it, we need a frame. So I'm going to put this in the same spot as this. I'm going to get rid of the frame background. Oops. But we're going to do something like that. Well, let's see what we got. Something like that, and then we'll place like a 2 or thickness on the side, top, and the bottom. What do we got? Okay, so far so good. And now we are going to reduce the opacity until we get it right. Yeah, something like that anyway. Gives it a little something. And we'll do the same thing for this one down here. And we'll size it to the description grid. And something that I probably should do is I'll put it inside of the grid. I don't think it should make a difference, and it'll help out in the long run. And then this one, I just have to change the sides that do have the border thickness. So I gotta put 2 on that side, and that should look all right. All right, we are good. Look at that, like we're 75%, well, more than that, 80% done, well, 75% done this view. I'm forgetting the rest of the stuff that we do need to add. So something that I kind of remember doing is adding more information. Now let me get something here. Where's the light version? We'll do developer as the first one. Go to 22, see what that looks like. Looks too small, so we'll go up to 30. That looks better. And I'm going to auto size this so that I could do this. Nice dock. I'll place the dock inside of the grid here. Then we'll start putting all of the text elements inside of that dock. So we've got that one. I want the release date. Cool about this is it just shows how quick you can create a theme like this that probably took me months at the time. All right, this one will just be a dash. Just shows the power of the community theme creator. So we'll do this 30, and we need to move this to the right font. Size it up, should be nice and good. We'll do some margins on either side. So 10, 10. Okay. The dock, I should be centering this up. Okay, so far so good. What I'd really like to do is take advantage of a stack element, and that stack will have the game, the dock, let's just put it here. And now we can position each one, give itself the margin that it needs. So this one should be auto-sized anyway. All right, now we can give it the margin that we would like to see. And because of how easy this is, I almost want to add another one here. Or something like genre or something like that. Oop. I think we're good, but I think I have to save it before anything happens. There you go. Sure, okay. So far, so good. So let's do some visibility conditioning. Basically, I want to say make it visible, but collapse it if there's no genre. So if genre 1 doesn't exist, collapse it. Same with the dash. The dash should have the same that should be not there. Okay. There you go. So then only that dash will appear if there is a genre there. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. With developer, make it visible unless game developer doesn't exist. Okay. So far, so good. And I wouldn't mind having one more row. Which I can simply do doing that, copy and paste. And this row will contain things like, I think, the star rating. Actually, I wouldn't mind having the platform. I want to know what platform it is. In fact, I might put that platform one right in the middle. And then on the side, I don't know. Let's do the star rating. And then on this side, we'll do something else. We'll just do the traditional play mode. How about that? And then we'll adjust the conditioning to play mode. And then we will adjust this one to star rating. Actually, we don't even need conditionings on these ones, to be honest. This one I'll make the actual community rating. All right, and then I'll add a little word at the end. Metadata, and then this one will just be a constant value of me saying rating. And then I'll have to put a little bit of a margin between them. Oops, I just changed the wrong one, didn't I? Let me bring that down. There we go. Let's put a little margin. Star rating. Now looking at that, I almost want to switch the sides. Oh, there it is. I'll send this to Dave. Nice crash that Dave could patch up. This is just a recreation of my very first theme, going back all the way to 2016. Okay, so I did lose quite a bit there. Where are we here? Developer, game developer, value is nothing. We'll copy that. We'll paste it on this one. We'll do the same thing on this side. Collapsed. This size genre 1 is no value. Definitely want to copy that to this guy here, which is genre. Okay. That's true. It's not too bad, to be honest. And now Dave is aware, and it's a bug that he will patch up. Okay, so let's take a look. So we had the platform, the game platform. Then we had the play mode. And then we had the last one was star rating. And for this, I needed 2 elements. The actual star rating. And then this is just the text that just says star rating. And then I put a little thing here. So far, so good. Play mode is this one here. Number 1. I should probably dump this in the side and put the platform name in the middle here. Because there's always a platform name and there's not always a play mode. So let me take a look at this. Visibility conditions, this will go down to play mode. And we'll copy that and paste it over this dash as well. This platform name should not have any visibility conditions, but all of these should have the same one that says if, no, actually, these ones should also be clear. Okay, we are back. You're importing your NES games, Willie. Awesome. Okay, so what's great is that I could do a little positioning maneuver here. I can push that down, and then the entire stack here can make it smaller, and then I can actually just align it to the center and see what that looks like. That's good. Okay, something like that. And let's move on to the video. So we're going to have a nice video element. And I'm going to place... this one's good. All right, and the difference of this one will be that I'll have a full circle there. Let's just fill the parent, which would make sense, to be honest. And then we're going to change this out. Oh, and this is what's going to be cool, I think. So we've got the selected item video. I'm going to place it in the frame. I'm going to make this also full screen, but I will put a margin so that you can still see the frame. I almost want to make it a little bigger, maybe like 4. Let's double it so that you can see the frame and then you can see the color inside of it. And now all I have to do is position this guy over here. I'll have the same starting out as this one. So the X position will be here. And then the Y, or the end of this will just be something like that. And now we'll complete our view. Now, I'm normally that's funny. I'm gonna have to take this out so it doesn't take the opacity with it. There we go. But I'm still going to have that margin. Where are you? Oh, I can't do margin. Okay, so I'll do this. I will fill it up completely. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to need another frame. Let's do that. Or, let's see how I did the opacity. Okay, I see. So 30%. Let's just make this full screen, and then I'll just do 30% alpha channel to get the same effect. And now I can put this in there without a problem. Look at that. Okay, so now let's center this up. There we go. So I'll get bigger and smaller and keep its aspect ratio, which I feel most people like. And now I'm finally reading your message, Retrolust. There we go. Saved it. And that's essentially what the view was back in the day. Let's change some games and see what we got. We're going to have a game that has a background. All right, the last thing that we not really think about when you're building a theme until afterwards is, when do you want elements to change and when do you not want them to change? And so normally I'd want this box to change only once selected. I believe that's default, right? Once selected. So people can be selecting their items, and then only until they stop on an item on a game will this box update. However, I might change the title and have that be cycling through as people are cycling through. And then I might do some more fancy stuff, like I'll have to do it for both of these individually, I guess. But I might do an animation where immediately I want it to appear. But then while people are selecting their item during selection, I want it to go from current opacity down to 0 in very quick, and then once selected, I want it to come back. Also fairly quick. Oh, let's do 0.5. Starting at 0.2. And then I want both of them to do the same thing. And Mr. X 1992, thanks for such an amazing program. I love LaunchBox. Well, thank you for loving LaunchBox. And same with you, Willie. We said it was good, but it's not good. It's amazing. It is really good, isn't it? Okay, so I mean that's enough tinkering around, I think. And let me create the next view. So at the time, I had thought something like, well, if we had this, maybe some people would want the wheel on the other side. So I essentially did the same thing on the other side. And what's great about the theme creator is that it should be not 100% easy, but easy enough for me to just move some numbers around. Let's see if I did it right. I should be able to do that. And we're just gonna eyeball this again. Okay, so I'm gonna move this to X position of, let's say, 75. How's that look? Yeah, I like that. Which means that this will also be 75, this video. And that means that the stack will be 0. I'll change the frame that's inside of it to reflect the different border that has an actual border on the side. We will move the wheel over to the other side here. That was a mistake. All right. Looking good. Got 1700, 1800. How's that? That's a good spot, I guess. And then we'll move the box. And of course, looks like I'll put that on that side, and I'll keep moving it until it looks like we're in a good spot here. Okay, 7. I think we're good. How do we do? Not bad. Done. That's 2. Oh, of course I say we're done, but you know, we're not. Could definitely see some issues. Okay, so let's correct them. We'll go to 85, 90. Well, actually, let's just go to 100 and 20. Perfect. Okay, so 120 is exactly where we need to go. We will move the description here to the same position. There we go. And now we got to move the box out a little bit. So 1000. Looks pretty good. I'll just move it over a little bit more. 10, 22. Oh, it's 10, 21. There you go. Okay. Oh, of course, I didn't realize I... Whoops. Okay. Let's just move on to the next one. Pretty sure I just accidentally got rid of it, but that's okay. This one's actually really, really easy. Somebody asked me for a theme that for a view that was essentially just a giant background. Like so. With the same blur. And then just the selected item video, like so. Wait, let me save that, because nothing's showing up right now. That's why. Copy. And we'll go back to default. Paste. I jumped out of default. Yes, I do. Okay, so far so good. And here I'm going to make a copy of this guy. And we're going to dump it here. Okay. Let's go back to a system that makes sense for this, like this Nintendo Entertainment System. And let's look at Mega Man 4. Alright, so this one should have enough content for me to do this. They essentially wanted a giant... Oops. I'm going to bring this to the forefront. Just want a giant wheel and a giant video. That was basically the entire view. So we'll keep that. You can see sort of that this needs to get a bit bigger. And I also have to position this a little better than it's positioned. Nice. And then I have a frame that I will put in the background. Although, to be honest, maybe I should just take the frame from here. That would make sense. Oh, I made that mistake again. Mr. Retro. One thing I learned in big box theming is never put a drop shadow on a giant video. Yeah, not the best move. You got to really use those drop shadows sparingly. Okay, let's get rid of the wheel again so I can copy this over. Copy, discard. Now we're going to paste. Means no longer need this. Delete. And if I just lock, no, actually I don't need to lock this. I'll just move the grid to 0 position and see what we got. Yeah, so this does need to be a bit smaller. And hopefully the width could just be auto-sized. No, of course it can't. There's nothing inside of it. Okay, so far so good. Let's put the wheel inside of there in the right position. We're going to make it a bit smaller, and then we're going to center it horizontally. And that's the view. Yeah, that's easy. Right? Right, Willie? Yeah, Mr. Retroless has some amazing content. And you're back at making the bezels now, I saw. Adding to the crazy amount of bezels that you already have. Okay, so there was one more view that I did want to get to. However, let's see. Yeah, let's do it. Of course, I'm going to have to copy this one to do it. Okay, let's paste that there. I mean, basically, this is the view right here. But I do believe that there's some stuff that I can do to make this better. So the first one is that here's some of the new stuff coming in the community theme creator that I haven't showed off before. The first one, I'm going to bring that up to 35, is that you have this new item section here, this new property section here, and it's got 3 different properties that basically saying if the item is selected, use these properties here. And I believe at the start, Dave's going to treat it as property preset number 8, which I don't have currently. But I'm hoping that he will make it so that you can do presets. It'll just be the default preset that you can then change what the background looks like, what the foreground looks like, all that good stuff, without having to go into the code. In the meantime, Dave did send me the properties, here they are, that I can use to make them work. So let me go into one of these other presets that actually has all of this stuff. I'm going to copy the code styling over to a RetroFresh game list. Oops. Game list styling. I'll paste that in there. I'm going to get rid of the background, and then I'm going to paste in the properties that he sent me. Let's take a look. Don't need that. This one is for the foreground, so the text element. And this one's for the background. And I'm just going to remove these ones for now. Okay, so what does that do? So by default, I can essentially make it. So if I wanted so I can have the foreground of all of the text lists to be some color, and then I can make it so the foreground of the actual list, I don't know if this is really working, to be honest, will have a potential background color of whatever I want. There we go. And you can just set it in these actual properties. It's not seeing that one working. Oh, but it should be. It's just not showing up. That's fine. Okay, so far so good. I do want to do a couple more things. I know there was a button here, show logo. Okay, there you go. So we've got the logo showing up there. Interesting. Max height of the logo. That's nifty. And then let's see what else I can play around with. Don't want to adjust the text alignment, but maybe I want this to clip. There you go. It's a good spot for that. And then for this one, I don't actually need these up here. In fact, I don't need these rectangles at all. And that I would like the wheel. Actually, I like it that way. So this should be adjusted, the background color, to 40%. All right. Other than that, everything should remain the same. So now we have a text list for people that want text lists, and we've got a couple of the other views. I don't know where the text list went. Maybe I have an animation I shouldn't. Or maybe it just disappeared. It did. It disappeared. It's okay. What I'm going to do, actually, what would make more sense than doing this, would be to just drag the statistics from this box, this one over here. I'll copy that one. And we'll jump into this one. And we'll paste the layout. There you are. Nice. Looks nice and sleek. Ooh, that white is really jarring. I might have to fade that out a little bit. But other than that, that's pretty cool. All right, so I'm basically done the majority of this theme. So I'm going to publish it. And while I do that, I'll answer your question. Full Metal Raven, can you create rows of games that only start with the first letter? Example, the letter A, and then have more columns below that start with another first letter. Can you create rows of games? I'm trying to to figure out what you mean by rows of games. Because it just sounds like you want a giant list that's that's alphabetical, or you're wanting to like have Big Box go into let's say micro machines, go into the Nintendo Entertainment, and then inside of that you'll see like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then you're going to decide which one you want, and then you click, let's say A, and then you go inside of that, and then only list the games that are listed in A, which is possible. Like, you could do that. However, the way that it defaultly works is that you have a list of everything with a alphanumeric index menu that you can then switch to any letter that you want. Right? You can do both of those. And so I guess the answer is yes. But you just have to set that up yourself in LaunchBox if you're wanting to categorize everything in a particular letter. And Willie, can you make the theme dark mode? Sure. I mean, you can do anything you want as a theme developer, as you can see here. And so while that happens, let me jump into Big Box and check this theme out. Do a quick check and see what we got. And then I'll polish it up sometime this weekend and release it out to everybody. Okay, so here's the refried theme that we were mentioning before. So I'm looking for RetroFresh detailed. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, look at that. Okay, so let me start out here in my categories. Okay, looking okay. It's gonna fade out. There you go, but not 100% of the way. Go in, comes back, get to a system. It's gonna fade out the wheel. Then you can see the video. Okay, let's go into Nintendo Entertainment System. And I do have a bunch of genre categories, but let's say I went into all games. Okay, so here's the wheel. Looking pretty good. See a couple issues, but nothing crazy. Looking all right. Probably want to do a little bit of animation on the background, but nothing too bad. All right. Okay, so, and then of course, if we went into the game details, we would get this view, and that looks good. Go back out. Not bad, huh? And of course, I didn't just create this one. There was also that other one, which I believe is mostly for arcade games, I would say. Of course, this one's just get the stuff out of the way and just let me see my video sort of view. There you go. And then you've got sort of that background that sort of appears there. Cool. All right, guys. Well, that was fun. It is getting to the end of the day, so thank you everyone for joining. Hopefully you have a great weekend, and we'll come back next week with more fun stuff. We'll be streaming again next Friday. I'm pretty sure. I don't have anything else. We'll be streaming again next week. Pretty sure Friday. And until then, we will have a great weekend. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Enjoy your weekend. Hopefully you'll have time to play around with your LaunchBox and Big Box. All right, everyone. Take care.